Tonight, I got something extra special for you all. We are going to do a pick your adventure, pick a card read, where we're going to work with 3 different decks. And this is something for those places inside of you where you feel really stuck or where you're having trouble moving forward in your life, where you feel like you're being held back or blocked in some way. We're going to find out what's needed to open the road by actually pointing out what is the path of growth that's open to you now. And I don't know, I just felt inspired to do this read. So we're going to be working with 3 different decks, and you can choose which one speaks to you. The first one we will be working with is the Angel Tarot. That's going to be pile number 1. And I do have a charm associated with that, and it is this antique cameo from Italy. Okay, 111 on the clock with that. So if you've been seeing that number synchronicity coming in a lot, that could be the pile for you. Second pile we got is the Arcane BS deck, and this is the box here. And this is a deck that's very out of the box, 133 on the clock when this came in. So if you've been seeing those numbers, that might be a clue for you. Also, I have this charm that came in for this particular deck. It's got a little bit of the hagstone effect here. Hagstones are stones that have natural holes burrowed through them that they say if you find one, they can allow you to peer into other realms, particularly the realm of fairies. So that could be a little clue coming in for you there. And then the final pile 3, we are working with the occult tarot here. Right, and there's something coming in here about the color red. Okay, so you may be very drawn to the color red. You may be very drawn to the combination of red and black specifically. And what came in for this pile, for pile 3, is this sage bundle that's been rolled in dragon's blood resin. Okay. 311 on the clock when that came in. So if you've been seeing those numbers, this could be a connecting point for you. So I'm going to go ahead and set these other decks aside. We're going to be doing any clarification that needs to come in with my trusty Shadow Light cartomancy here. I'm going to set these boxes aside and we'll begin with pile 1. For those who chose the Angel Tarot, I'm going to go ahead and call out the times on this recording here so I can just note it when I do the premiere and the live chat with you all, okay? So let me get just this stuff cleared out of the way here a little bit. So we got some room to work with. All right. So you chose the Angel Tarot and this cameo here. This is for you. 4:20 on the clock. All right. Some of you may be chilling out right now. Some of you may have just taken a toke. You're ready to settle in, receive your read. I think you may have gotten through like a really challenging passage and you're just starting to feel like everything is beginning to level out a little bit here. We do have justice on the bottom of the deck, 4:44 on the clock. You got angels on the outfield. You definitely have some divine support right now. You got some guides who are batting for you. I feel that very strongly. If you are involved in any kind of legal dispute, or if you got a case going before the docket, I do feel like the truth is going to be known, and where there's innocence, it will prevail. So I feel like this is something also, speaking of karmic balancing, something has been balanced out. I do feel like you're just starting to come into that place of balance. It's like the dust is settling, but you're sort of sitting here going, what's next? What's next before me here? What's next? I think I'm going to turn this a little bit because it's kind of shining right in my eyes. Okay, so yeah, this could even have, now I'm getting sort of the impression of like somebody getting pulled over, you know. So could this be related to like some kind of case of getting caught up, maybe a DUI or something like this, or where somebody was falsely arrested? This just coming in, but I did get that impression of, you know, interrogation too, like the bright light in your face. Where were you? Who were you with? You know, you could be dealing with a situation like that. Some of you, it's something legally that you've been contending with, but you're innocent. And I do feel like you're going to get to the other side of this. Like there's an indication that there's like, okay, you know, kind of balancing things out. Now you're free to like take a toke. You're free to kind of like, you know, kind of chill out a little bit. You may have had to really play it straight and narrow for a while if you were navigating something like that. I also feel it's something that was really rough on you, and perhaps it did put you on the spot. Perhaps a lot of people had questions for you. They wanted you to give them answers. You felt like you were being interrogated. I almost said integrated. Your integrity was in question. Okay. So I feel like where there is truthfulness, that is going to be seen. But I do feel like something is kind of coming to a place of settling or resting here. I rest my case. It keeps kind of coming through like that, right? So deep breath, let it all go. Let's see what's coming in here for you. What's coming in here for you? What is the path of growth open to you now? Because I do feel like there is a path that has come to its end. And so a new road opens here. 7 of Cups, okay? It's almost time. A lot of you are dealing with something legally here. I say that because we have 7 of Cups, and you see the angel is pointing at the hourglass saying, you know, the verdict's going to be in pretty soon here. And it does say contemplation makes the truth known in legal proceedings. Okay, so if this is a matter where you've been dealing with some court case, or somebody that you love is involved in some kind of legal proceedings, I do feel like right now the jury is out. There's deliberation going on. I also feel like this could be something going down in spiritual court, and there's something that has to be settled here. You did have the cameo as your symbol here. There could be an Italy connection to this. There could be an Italian heritage connection here. This could also, with antiques, maybe this has something to do with old money, okay? Or it could even have something to do with jewels, baubles. It could have something to do with theft, okay? Also, I feel like this could be something related to a very old matter. It could be a family matter. Who gets what? I could see that. There could have been a death in association with this. 9:33 on the clock. If that's the case, there may be questions about foul play. There could be questions about foul play in terms of the deceased. There could also be questions of foul play in relation to missing money, missing assets, things of this nature. Also missing pieces of information. You may have somebody who has passed on, somebody very close to you. I got aunt energy or auntie energy, okay, that is by your side. You may have questions about their passing. You may have questions also about the estate. You could be the aunt in this situation, and you're sort of resolving certain issues here. With the cameo here, it does make me think that I don't know why I got this imagery, but so much is coming in here. And certainly, if you don't got anything legally going on, I do feel like this is really a case where there's similarities. You know what I mean? Like the jury's still out as far as, are you innocent or did you have a hand in this? There is sort of like a mug shot of sorts, because this is what I was going to say. Like if there is a mug shot of you out there, 11:11 on the clock, okay, something that casts you in a certain light where people make a certain association with your face specifically. It could have to do with legal issues, but it could also be like somebody set up a fake account, like a profile, and they used your image and they've been misrepresenting you. Or it could be something that has happened that has marred public opinion of you because of a certain spin that was put on you that cast you in a certain light. But you're innocent. I do feel that beauty will be restored there, or your rightful image will be restored and preserved. Okay. This is also like putting a new face on something too, is something that at one time had kind of it's coming through as like soiled, like spin put on it, and having that perhaps restored. This particular cameo, I did have it go through a bit of a restoration, so that could be factoring in there. There might be wanting to restore one's image. And it could be restoring the image of someone you love, somebody you're connected to, and maybe somebody who's no longer here. And so that becomes even more important. Okay. I got like vindication energy around that coming in. Contemplation time is almost up. Okay. So a verdict is about to come in one way or another. Whether this is something going down in legal court or if this is something going down in spiritual court. The truth is about to be known and a certain judgment is about to be made, okay? Let's get some more details here for those who chose pile 1 and the path of growth that's open to them now. We know that there's one path that you've been on, or perhaps many you've explored. Yeah, look at this. Wow, Ace of Swords on the bottom of the deck. Yeah, some truth is going to become evident here. I mean, I see it in some cases where there's been the passing of a loved one and there's been questions about it, like, was that of natural causes or was there foul play? There might be some kind of like truth coming out about this. I also feel like where somebody maybe spun the truth in such a way that had you down for the count here, you're getting a certain truth put in your hands that allows you to take ownership of your own reputation. It's sort of like something had a real negative slant put on it here. And this could have even been something that came from a friend, somebody you really trusted here. The truth might be a little hard to take when you find out about this. With this, we have the Knight of Swords. You will become aware of this issue. And I think this is very important in your situation. because it sort of feels like maybe you're still familiar with a certain energy that actually could get you caught up, or maybe moves a little too recklessly in some cases. This person takes action and then thinks about it later. They don't really necessarily consider the ramifications of their choices. 15:15 on the clock and how it affects other people. Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky devil you're dealing with here. There has been some kind of deception in this situation, and it looks like it's coming from somebody in your circle who's taken a certain liberty with the way they've spun the truth. And you're going to find out about this. Whatever they did, it puts you in a really bad spot, man. And this could even be like in cases where there are legal proceedings going on, this could be somebody lied on you to kind of save their butt, you know? And you're finding out about this. But either way, with the Ace of Swords coming out here, it does show that you are armed with some truth. And what's needed to move this forward will be put in your hands, because this ensures that the abundance will be protected, okay? So if this is a matter that concerns assets or theft of property or some kind of inheritance dispute, anything along these lines, I do feel like that will be restored. Where there's been foul play, it's going to be revealed. I think the thing that's going to be difficult, though, is that where the foul play is coming from, it's somebody that you're close to. It's somebody that you may still be breaking bread with. It's somebody that you share a sense of affinity with. You call this person friend. But they did something shady here that really puts you in a bad spot. Let me get some more information here. Some more details. It's a Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Okay. So somebody focused on money, somebody selfish, somebody greedy, somebody wanting control, potentially of assets, somebody on the take, bottom of the deck, 5 of Swords. Look, they got pointed out right there. Placed a huge burden on others. Huge, maybe even 2 people, actually. You have the desire to know, and where you have questions and you want to know the truth, you're about to get it. Something's about to come in that's going to be a game changer for you. And this is what opens your road. It helps you cut through a lot of BS. You're not going to be held back anymore. You're going to find out what this Queen of Pentacles has been up to. And when you find out what she's been up to, this Queen of Pentacles in reverse, you're going to be due some compensation. Like they're going to owe you something here. Some of you may decide to take legal recourse to get what was taken from you and have that restored. And whatever you're getting here, whatever information you're getting, it puts the burden of truth on your side, which means that you do have like legal standing here. I do feel like this will be successful for you. What do we got here? This could be a Taurus. We got the Hierophant coming out in reverse with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Somebody thought that they could get their hands on assets that weren't theirs, and that they could somehow spin things in such a way where they could point the finger at you, maybe make you take a fall for something that they actually did. Or that they could kind of like pull the wool over your eyes, get one over on you. I don't think you're going to feel too ready to forgive this person when the details are revealed. I think you're going to feel a sense of what I call righteous anger in this situation. You are going to feel betrayed. You're going to feel like this person really did some sneaky stuff behind your back. And yeah, you know, this person's made a lot of promises to you. This is somebody that you've trusted. I feel like this is somebody that you've confided in. And this is somebody you've called friend. This may even be somebody that you've helped out, you know. when they were going through a tough time, you helped them out of a lurch. You know, you pulled some strings for them. You did a favor for them. In fact, that may have been the thing that got you in trouble here. They had you do some kind of favor for them that actually got you connected to some mess that was of their making. That's how it's coming through. All right. But it looks like you're about to have a game-changing moment. And then as soon as you have the truth, you got your way through. It's sort of like this needs to be cleared out first. So the path of growth that's opening up to you now is that you're going to finally get the truth you need to implicate the person who's been causing the foul play in your life. Because whether that's been going down legally or it's just been going down on more of like a spiritual level here, and this is a matter that's being settled in spiritual court, you're going to get the burden of proof on your side. And where something casts you in a bad light or puts you in a position of guilt by association or anything like this, you're totally freeing yourself from this. You're springing the lock here. It don't look too good for this Queen of Pentacles Hierophant here, though. It doesn't. And in fact, it's sort of like, I feel like it's a tables turning moment where that person's going to have to own their actions and sort of the image they tried to cast on you, 21 on the clock. They're going to have to own that, man. World energy coming through very, very strongly there. For you, it's a completion. It finally lets you exhale, man. It's something that finally allows you to just let go. I got through that. And once you're done with that, it's like you got a whole brand new beginning here without this, you know, attached to you. I feel that. In some cases, you're even having your name cleared, whether that's in the court of public opinion or that's in the court of law. I feel that like your name is being cleared because you're getting what you need to spring a lock and set yourself free in this situation. And there is some compensation that is due to you. I feel like you've lost a lot of time. I feel like you've lost a lot of energy. I feel like there's been loss that's been very deep, very painful here. And there will be accountability. You may have felt very frustrated. You may have even, there may be somebody that you talked to that passed on as well. And you have something that they gave you, like some memento. If there's maybe a piece of jewelry, you often have sat and held that piece of jewelry to feel your connection to that loved one, and you've talked to them about this matter. And I do feel like you do have a loved one that has passed, that's like by you, you know, guiding you at this time. I also feel like if you are dealing with the loss of a loved one and you suspect there's been some kind of foul play involved with that, I'm picking up something here about if you connect with an item of theirs, it could even be a cameo or some kind of brooch. It could be a locket that has a picture of them inside of it, maybe something that they gifted to you. I got sentience around this. If you hold that item in your hand and you just let it be known that you're open to communicating with them, I have a feeling like their energy will come on through and it'll give you some kind of like clarity in this situation. Let me do a cut of the deck here, and then we'll just get one final round of clarification here. The Shadow Light playing cards. The Emperor. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. You have protection against conspiracies here. This is good, man. You've been so frustrated with this situation. You have been very frustrated in this situation. And I even feel like you tried to extend the olive branch to this person at one point. Like you had some challenges with this person before. You thought you got to the other side of it. Nope. Nope. I feel like whatever's going on here, you're going to end up in a position of authority. You're going to end up in a position of power in this situation. So where you were down for the count, you're about to be the comeback kid, because some truth is going to arm you with what you need to set the record straight. And from there, the road opens to you. And you're protected against these conspiracies, and you're being restored to your rightful position here. It was 25:11 on the clock, 7:11 there. Okay, so another synchronicity coming in for you. When you see 7:11, that's going to be a sign to you to pay attention, because there's messages coming in to put you into alignment with this truth that you need to settle this score. And on the other side here, we got the Knight of Pentacles. See, what was hidden or concealed is going to have a light shined upon it. And that's going to like blaze a trail that opens your road here. You are getting the light of understanding through acquiring knowledge that rectifies this situation. Okay. Very, very good energy. I do feel like it's been a little slow in coming here, especially where you had questions about financial matters, questions about assets, questions about why am I not receiving, what's due here, or something that's really rocked your foundation because of certain lies that were told here. You're getting what you need to move ahead. So let's just get final round here of clarification with the shadow light playing cards. I mean, I definitely feel this could have something to do with your assets. This could have something to do with an inheritance. This could have something to do with any of those 8th house Scorpio matters. I also feel like this is being rectified in your favor. I also feel like where there was something that happened here that affected your work in some way, affected your standing in the community, and that also had a blocking effect. Or if you were dealing with some kind of unfair competition, somebody stole your work or somebody stole assets, skimmed off the top, affected your finances in some way. This is being restored and to your advantage here. So this is good. I like seeing this energy come in for you. Let's just get one round here and a cut of the deck from the shadow light cartomancy, so we can get any further details that you need to be aware of in this situation. Bottom of the deck, 4 of diamonds in the shadow. Okay, so yeah, I think that, you know, your foundation has been shaken here, and that's something that's a little stressful for you. I feel like you've still been moving through this a little bit, but you're just about to get to the other side. Definitely whatever happened here had a destabilizing influence for you. And I think when the truth comes out about what a particular person has been doing, it might rock it a little bit more. But I do see, you know, we have the Queen of Pentacles energy in reverse. Here we have the King of Diamonds showing up in the light here. So this could have been somebody that you were married to. This could have been somebody that you had a business partnership with. Okay, but I see that you are going to be restored to your rightful position. You're not in alignment with this person anymore. When this truth comes in, it ends this partnership. I see that for sure. Yeah, it ends it. It ends it abruptly with the 10 of Swords, and it is final. Like there's no going back from this decision. That road closes. I see it very clearly, but there's restoration for you. There's restoration for you. Restoration financially, restoration of your foundation, restoration of your position, restoration of your reputation, okay? And where you felt like your root had been rocked, there's stability here. If there was foul play suspected, I do feel like that is going to be revealed. If that's in association with the passing of a loved one, and there's been legal proceedings going on here. And yes, I like this here. Okay, so some kind of fulfillment that had been delayed for you, that, you know, missed the boat for you because somebody else, you know, took the reins here and tried to leave you in a lurch. You're going to get the healing you need here. You will get the restoration you need here. I see it very clearly. So you got a lot of positive energy on your side. All right. So try not to worry, but do pay attention, because I do feel like these details are coming in for you. Kind of the deck here. What do we got? Right now, you know, you feel like you're not quite sure which way the pendulum's going to swing, but I'm telling you, this will be illuminated for you. What was done in the dark, deals done in the dark, will come to light to your advantage. Oh, yeah. And you're going to have the last laugh here because it's a little divine play, right? Pretty potent message coming through for you there. That looks good. Good energy coming in for you there. All right. We're going to move on to the next pile. Okay. Let's clear these out. All right. We're going to jump into pile number 2 here at 31:03 on the clock. So if you chose pile 2 and you picked the Arcane BS deck, and this charm right here, it has this sort of hagstone effect. This is your read, 31:22 on the clock. Okay, so you may have been seeing number synchronicities like 22, combinations of 4 coming in. The 31st could be significant for you. Halloween specifically could be significant for you. There could have been something that went down on Halloween. You could be born on Halloween. Halloween could be your favorite holiday. 31:55 on the clock coming in there too. Again, the 4, now double 5s. Life path 4, life path 5 could be significant in this situation. This is silver, and silver is known for warding. Okay, so there may have been something you needed to ward here, because I do have, you know, this vibe about sort of being able to see into other realms. You could be an alchemist. 32:32 on the clock, double 5s again. Such strong life path 5s. It also makes me think of the 5 elementals. So this could be somebody who works with the occult arts, right? You could be dealing with somebody who works with the occult arts. There could be a connection to fairy here, just with this sort of hagstone reference. Also, the stone, aquamarine, could be significant in some way. It also makes me think of the throat chakra and something being held in, or feeling like the throat chakra is being suppressed, or maybe somebody trying to silence your voice. Somebody could also work with glass. Somebody could be a jewelry maker. I'm getting something like somebody who actually does things like works with stained glass, or does glass blowing, or is a welder, works with metals, jewelry maker, this kind of energy. All right, let's see what's on the bottom of the deck here. Well, we got heavy hitter energy here. Something's coming to a close. It's interesting though, because I saw 34:13 on the clock when that came out. So I feel like something's come to a close. On the surface, it may seem like a negative thing, but I feel like whatever is coming to a close here is actually a bit of good luck for you. I mean, I do feel like something is irrevocably been cleared here. Like there's no coming back from this. And yet I feel like you're at peace with what's been cleared from your life, with everything's fine. You may be somebody who takes a little bit more of a stoic approach to life. You could have a strong Scorpio placement in your chart. You're used to going through lots of cycles like this in your life. You've dealt with this over and over and over again. You feel like you've had multiple incarnations even within this life. I could see that. You could be somebody who goes through a lot of initiations. You go through a lot of spiritual testing. You know your way through some pretty dark territory, I feel. You know how to feel your way through the dark. You've had to move through the dark many times. You started to become familiar with the unknown, find even comfort there, almost like a strange sense of solace there, because if you don't know what's up ahead, then there's possibility it could be something you'll actually like the view of. Something you like the view of. This could come from your stock. I don't know why I got that. You might come from sort of a very like salt of the earth kind of bloodline. You know, you come from a bloodline of real strong people. They know how to just sort of like face what life throws at them, take it on the chin and keep the head held high. You know, this kind of energy coming through. All right, but there is sort of like some indication there might be like a spiritual matter at play here. You're an alchemist, you walk kind of a different path. Let's see what we got here. Some of you might have been opening up to new gifts too. I got like necromancy, like somebody may be opening up to mediumship here. You know, at first it might have freaked you out. It might have felt like a big jolt, you know. You might not have known how to ground out the energy at first, but now I feel like you're like, everything's fine. Yeah, I'm cool with it now, you know. Some of you may be connecting very strongly with the ancestral energy too. That's kind of blowing your mind as well. I feel like there is that sort of energy here. Something's blowing your mind. Bottom of the deck, the former child star. Look at this. You know, the way this is kind of coming through with the former child star, I think you're ready to sort of like shed an old image of you. There may have been a time where you were really able to find favor by sort of like playing the role people wanted you to play. And that made you like their shining star. Some of you are, you know, from backgrounds where maybe when you were a kid, you were put in the spotlight in some way, like your parents really wanted you to be involved in acting, or they wanted you to get into modeling or beauty pageants, things like this. And you went along with it, but I also feel like it put a lot of pressure on you. And in some ways, you feel like you always had to be on. That's what I'm getting. And I think over time, however this played out in your life, it could even be the star child. Some of you were the favorite. Parents don't often like to openly talk about that, but you may have been the favorite. That also may have put a lot of pressure on you. You may have been teacher's pet. Like, I feel like in some way, when you were younger, you had like, you know, a certain image to uphold, which is a real heavy burden to put on a child's head. Yeah, this effing guy. It could have been like your father, you know. Your father really like, he took a very strong stance. Maybe you felt like you had to impress him. You felt like, you know, it was pretty big shoes to fill. Also, I do feel like you didn't have much say. It's sort of like, this is what you're going to do. And you just kind of had to rise to the challenge here. You may have had a complicated relationship with your father or some other figure in your life. I feel like if that's the case, that's played out in your relationships, regardless of what role you play in that. Whether you're the one who sort of finds yourself with domineering partners, or whether you've kind of taken more of that stance because you don't want to let anybody get too close to you here. There is something sort of coming up here about you dealing with somebody that's reminding you of this person that put a lot of pressure on you in the past to fill certain shoes. It looks like, you were sort of like the star. You had a lot of attention on you, and it was a lot to live up to. And there's something that you just desire to be done with. You want to just like burn that bridge, and you don't want to look back. You want to put that time in your life behind you. What have we got here? Yeah, look at that. Former child star in reverse. It came out again. You want to put that time in your life behind you. But it's interesting because there might be a little bit of this part of you that feels like now you're abandoning it. Like your child self may feel abandoned by you. I'm getting that. It's sort of like you learn to cut off that more vulnerable part of you, the child who couldn't speak up and say, I don't want to do this, because they felt like they couldn't, because they would disappoint the people around them. You learn to kind of go along with the status quo rather than really speaking up about what you truly felt, or you were never allowed to really show what you felt, because if you did, there could be ramifications. Like somebody had a parental figure that really like ruled with an iron fist, or there was some kind of authority figure in their life that put them under a lot of pressure, and it's still something that is affecting them today. I feel like in their relationships, this could be somebody you're dealing with too. This could be somebody you're dealing with that you feel like, how come I can't like get through to you? And you may even feel like at times this person has temper tantrums or they act up, but that's why. It's because the destructive element is coming from a repressed part of them. I feel like it's from when they were young. And it could also be when they were young, they were used to getting a lot of attention, and now somebody else has the attention, and that's why they're acting up. They're used to being sort of like center stage. There is something playing out here with this. What is the crossing element? Wet pants. Wet pants. Yeah, somebody's gotten themselves in a little bit of hot water because they're out of their element. There could be fear at play here. You may know what direction you want to head in, but it could be there's a certain fear that's holding you back. Certain fear that's holding you back. I got it. Wet pants. If you burn the bridge, then maybe you gotta find your way across the water, You're gonna get wet pants. Like you gotta be all in. And I think of the water and I think about emotions. Like emotionally, you gotta be all in. 44:11 on the clock. That's what it is. That's what it is. Somebody that you are trying to come together with here. In order for you to, get to the other side in this connection, you got to be all in, and somebody's having a hard time being all in, really getting down into the emotional space there. Also has a hard time sharing attention. That's the way it's coming through. It's like being in a relationship with somebody who they have to have all the attention all the time. And somebody here feels like left out, or they want to take their spot, you know, on center stage. They might be worried about, like, how is this person going to react to that? Because this person likes to have all the power. This person likes to be the center of attention. And if I don't sort of like play the role they want me to play and do what they want me to do, you know, well, then there's going to be ramifications. There's going to be hell to pay. It's like that kind of an energy. Like, there's a big power struggle here. And it's been going on since the dawn of time. I just heard that song, Hard-Headed Woman. Hard-Headed Woman. Yeah. Yeah, the source of trouble since the world began. Okay, you could be dealing with a hard-headed woman. You could be the hard-headed woman. You may have decided, I'm not going a certain way. I'm ready to go in a new direction here, but I recognize in doing this, I'm going to be burning a bridge. But that's okay, because I can't ignore what I'm feeling here. So I'm ready to be all in. I'm going to dive into this. I'm scared, you know, I'm nervous to take that leap with the wet pants, but also heading in this direction, it turns me on, wet pants. And I also know I got to get in the thick of it. There's only one way to do it. I got to dive all the way in, but it is going to burn a bridge. There might be like a little bit of a hesitation about burning the bridge too. I can see. There might also be a recognition through this connection. Someone in this situation feels like they need a moment of hesitation, because somebody here, I feel, is self-aware enough that they do understand that there could be like a young part of themselves acting up. 47 on the clock. Somebody is self-aware, so they're sort of like looking into this a little bit further. The question is to dive all in or not. Fear is what's holding somebody back. Fear of what it means to step into this power, and fear of the reaction of another here who's always held power over them in the past. It's like a big defining moment, I feel. Let me do one more round here with these. Anything else about this choice to dive all in? Clues about what is this to dive all in with here? What is this? Clues about diving all in here. What is this about? Yeah. Oh, wow. Aunt Brenda. Yeah. That's what it is. It's like somebody's had the upper hand for a long time, and somebody here is ready to like ring that bell. School's in session. Let me tell you what's what. I'm tired of having you be on my tit here. It's time for me to transform this situation. It's time for me to take the power back into my own hands. Now, Aunt Brenda, I have to bring it in. I have to bring it in because of, you know, this particular charm here and all the indications of like, you know, being able to see into other realms and just that whole energy that came in there. You could be dealing with an auntie too, who's maybe had that upper hand because they've been throwing some workings around in some cases here. And if that's the case, I feel like you're going to learn how to transform that, maybe lift some roots that were put on you. Lift some roots that were put on you that frees that sense of being held back or restricted. There might be something like you're meant to share, and it's been restricted because somebody laid some roots on you. Bells are also used for purification. We do have the snake medicine there. Scorpio energy coming through again. Feel like it has something to do with like throat chakra. So sharing your voice, okay? You could be a singer, or you use your voice in some way with your work. Maybe you felt really afraid of stepping into this. You might have felt like insecure about it or felt restricted in some way. It could be because somebody's been working on your throat chakra. Also, when we look at throat chakra, it's about aligning with your purpose here. So if you've been feeling suddenly insecure or fearful about sharing something, like putting yourself out there, letting yourself step into the spotlight some way, and you're not sure where that's coming from, yes, it could be like a part of you, you know, that's wanting to be like the center of attention again. If you used to hold that position when you were younger, but for some reason somebody else seems to be, you know, taking up that space now. And you may be kind of contrasting and comparing yourself with this person, and then you're starting to recognize, no, actually, you know, I bring something unique to the table here. So it's like apples and oranges, you know what I'm saying? It's like I don't need to hold myself to the standard of what they're doing, because what I do is different. I feel like there's something here that it really does just require you to get over your fear and jump into it. But in other cases, it could be a competitor, okay, or somebody who's in competition with you has been sort of laying some roots to rock your confidence or to put fear in you as far as a certain direction you want to head in here. But I feel like all you need to do is sort of face your fear to get to the other side there, and you'll be just fine. You'll be just fine. A road opener could be good for you, you know, doing some kind of road opening work, you know. Helped me out of the jam, I guess. I used a little too much force, okay? You might need to use what you consider a little too much force to sort of get yourself to the other side of this. It may seem like, is that being too heavy-handed? It seems like that's what's at question here. You might even sense this and feel like, I have to take some kind of action. For those of you who do feel like somebody's laid roots on you, you might be a little concerned about opening the road with a blockbuster, though, because you're afraid of the ramifications. I also see this kind of like energy here that's like school's in session. So you might be wondering if that's the best way to transform your situation. You may have specifically been drawn to this read because of the thumbnail I have and how it talked about a road opener. This may be something you've been considering because you've had somebody you've been contending with here that they really have exerted a lot of power over you in a way where it's been restricted. I feel like there's rebellion brewing here for this pile. Okay. I mean, burn a bridge. You'll get to the other side, but I think what you need to recognize is if you do take that course of action, if this is something you've been considering, do expect that a lot of emotional stuff is going to come up for you. It will be an emotional experience for you. It will rock your root, you know, when you do that. When you do a road opener like that, it's not going to be like smooth sailing, and you're going to have to be committed to it, because if you take that action, I feel like it does burn bridges behind you. So do be aware of that. Do be aware of that. Let me do a cut of the deck here. See what we got. Baseball code. You're like, all right, I want to hit it out of the park. I want to take this action, one shot. I want to be done with it. You could be a Capricorn. You could be a pretty resilient person. You're determined to just open your road. You're tired of feeling blocked, and you do feel like somebody's been doing something to hold you back. So I do feel like if you did a blockbuster, or if that's what you're considering doing to open your road, I mean, it will be effective. You will hit it out of the park. It will remedy the situation. It's a real strong action, but you might be real fed up in this situation. Yeah, look at that. Anthropomorphic carrot here. I do feel like you'll get that golden cosmic carrot that's been sort of dangling out of reach. There is some reward for you. It does require you take strong action, okay? For those of you who are like, I ain't doing no blockbuster, I ain't doing nothing like that. I do feel like there's something here where you've been dimmed down, and this is about you really stepping back into your light in a strong way, but you got to take your power back here. You're not going to be able to sort of do this playing small. You're going to have to jump into it all the way, and I do feel like it does fill you with a bit of fear. It's not the most comfortable experience. It does require you to look at some emotional stuff, especially subconscious stuff. And what comes to a close here? There's no going back, but you finally get your hands on that golden carrot, that thing that's been dangling out of reach. So, yeah, I mean, get in the game there, man. You're going to be up to bat soon. You're going to be up to bat soon. Let me get some more details for you here. We'll give this a little shuffle because we still had all the old energy in there from the last read. Yeah, let's see what is coming in here. So the only indications I have on the board currently as far as signs involved, big Scorpio energy. We also got Capricorn here, okay? So you could be a Capricorn North Node. You feel like you've been held back from really moving forward towards your purpose. Like I feel like you have a sense of what you know you are here to do. You already kind of like got the memo, but you've been feeling like you've been really held back. Also, you may feel like somebody you're trying to come into alignment with is your destiny, all right? But it's been like two ships passing in the night, and there's been all kinds of problems with power dynamics and somebody wanting to have too much control in this situation, or you could feel like they're connected to a very controlling person. It could be a family member. It could be an aunt. It could be an old lover they're connected to that knows how to do root work, okay? This energy coming in too. Either way, I think you're ready to ring that bell. You're ready to purify this energy and clear your path. It's going to take a strong action. I feel like for a lot of you, this is really just about stepping into your power. And for those of you that are like, yes, I am an alchemist. I walk that path. I've been considering doing a blockbuster. I'm tired of dealing with this. I want to open my road. I'm tired of having, my energy cloaked by this mother effer, and I'm ready to do what needs to be done. I think if you do it, it's going to work. You're going to school this person. That's what I got. It's going to work. Yeah, it's going to work. I know it's going to work for you, because whatever they sent your way is going to head right back to them, and you're going to finally have the power you need back in your hands, all right? I mean, you have to be ready to really own that action, though, because it will shake up your life. A blockbuster will shake up your life. A blockbuster will make you feel Like the ground is moving beneath your feet with the 4 of diamonds here, you know, whatever's felt real stable in your life will start to shift radically, but it's done so so you can kind of get your footing again, right? It's sort of like somebody came by you and they sort of stuck out their leg and you tripped over it here. They put an obstacle in your path that puts you in a compromised position here. And this allows you to reestablish that. Yeah. And it could have been connected to a lover here. A lover here. Uh-huh. Somebody who's real bitter. Somebody who's real bitter. Coming through is like water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Okay. Real bitter energy, been manipulating a situation, could have been attached to this person you're trying to come into alignment with here, potentially. The person you're trying to, you know, work things out with, they could be like a real solid person. I feel like this person has some kind of stability in their life. They may have some kind of status. They could be somebody who's had certain advancements in business. I think whoever this person is, like, you really want to like get something established here, but something's been holding things back. And if you feel like this person has been like really like in a fixed position, very stubborn, they got somebody that's sort of like egging them on in that respect, that's sort of working them, you know, that's having them take that stance. Perhaps they're telling them to approach you in that way, and whatever they're doing, it's manipulative. Okay, this is really interesting here. Give me more details about this. Give me more details about this. Ooh, flyer there. Ooh, okay. I mean, it stuck to my hand and it came out again. And what's the crossing energy? Yeah, this is somebody really in competition with you, with the 6 of clubs in the shadow. This is somebody who will do anything they have to do to be the one that wins, to be the one that claims the prize, to be the one who's the center of attention, that has the spotlight on them. That's what this is. That's what this is. This could be the former child star. They see that you're in a position where you're up to bat. You got some kind of power in your hand. You're about to hit it outside the park. And you got something coming in for you that really sets you apart from the others, okay? And they have a hard time with that. They have a hard time with that. They're bitter about it. This could even be an ex of yours that's bitter about this. They're not okay because they don't like the light cast them in. It's like, wait a minute, all the attention used to be on me. Now you got the attention. So there's these kind of vibes that are playing out here in this situation. In this situation. And in the case of an auntie that's connected to this King of Diamonds here, that's been manipulating the situation, somebody who does know how to lay roots, they did that so they could sort of like secure the field. They want to maybe even keep this King of Diamonds in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? They don't want you to have your chance up to bat with this character because it sort of unravels their plans. That's what I got. One more round here. One more round here. For pile number 2. One more round here about the road of growth opening up for you. I mean, to me, your path of growth is all about you clearing out this energy by facing your fear, diving into it, realizing it might get a little emotionally messy here. I could certainly see that in the realm of love. You may feel like it's going to be a little emotionally messy sorting this out. You can even feel like in terms of a love relationship, this person can be a little emotionally manipulative. Okay, but I feel like you got to face your fear. You got to stand up to this in some way, shape, or form. You got to ring that bell and say, school's in session, man. Okay. And if this is a case where it's, you know, a competition
In business, this is like you're rising up into a place of visibility here. You got some kind of spotlight on you. You're about to hit it out of the park. There's something coming in here for you. Somebody's jealous, and it could be an ex. And if you're coming together with somebody here, their ex is jealous because of it makes them look like sort of like they weren't up to snuff. You know what I mean? That's the way they're taking it. I sense a lot of immaturity here in this situation. Like there's some really immature people operating in this situation here. Bottom of the deck energy. Yeah. It's time to move away from this, whatever this is. It's time to walk away from anything that's been, shaking your confidence, making you feel like you're not ready for it. For a lot of you, you need to move away from what's been holding you back here. To me, it looks like your fear. And it also looks like fear around really like confronting where you're at emotionally in a situation and taking a very strong action to just, go for it. Do what you want to do. Also, for some of you, it's to get this energy to move away, and you've been wondering, I don't know if I'm ready to like do a blockbuster. I don't know if I'm ready to deal with like what's going to come at me as a result of doing that. So that lets me know you are somebody, if that's the case, where you know well enough what happens when you strike that match and burn that bridge. For this alignment that comes, in for you, there's also the result of how that comes about. It rocks the stability, It's a strong course of action, but I do feel like it moves you forward to alignment. And it does put you in alignment with the vision of, where you want to go here. And it looks like somebody you're meant to connect with as well as part of this. Also, I feel like it clears out the sabotaging influences. It clears out the influences that have been destabilizing for you, that have put you in this position where you haven't been able to move forward. And I mean, hello, King of Clubs energy. This is beneficial for you. And it was 10711 on the clock. Fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So yeah, I say where you're looking at burning a bridge, where you're looking at walking away from a dynamic where you've not been allowed to have your moment, where you have been feeling held back, where you have to dim your light. You doing this, kind of schooling the person who's put you in that position and taking this strong action and getting into the thick of it, it's going to work out for you. It'll be good news for you. It will bring you advancement. It will bring you advancement. A lot of you, this could be playing out as well in the realm of finances, status, visibility for your work as well. And I do feel like if you take this action, that star will be on the rise. It puts you in a really strong position, and it gets like all of the fuckery out of your field of play. It really does. And where those poisoned arrows were shot your way, I do see that, they head back from the source they came from. All right. So everything balances out in the end. So there's your answer for that. All right. There's your answer for that. So yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a pile that probably has been dealing with some level of spiritual warfare. Yeah, that's been interrupting your ability to come into alignment here. And in order to open the road, you got to deal with it on that level, okay? And spiritual warfare can also be like, people gossiping about you, or marring your reputation in some way, or, just affecting you on that level. And certainly, whatever this is, it's an action you're considering taking that once I take this action, there's no going back. But it is how you gain the upper hand in this situation, and you are being advised to go for it. All right? Really important. It will turn your situation around about that. All right. Go ahead and clear this out of the way. And we are going to start with pile 3 on 110 on the dot. All right. Well, something came to a close. You're at a time of a brand new start here, fresh start. And it brings some kind of hidden gifts with it for you. You chose the Occult Tarot, all right? So I do feel like, again, I'm dealing with somebody where they have certain arcane knowledge, occult knowledge. You may be a walker of the path. With this sage that's been rolled in dragon's blood resin here coming in, I feel like it's a good time for you to offer up a little bit of smoke. I do feel like it's very important at this time that you really strengthen your connection with your roots, with your ancestral roots, by offering up a little bit of smoke. It's a good time to call in blessing energy for the road ahead. And it was 1:11:17 on the clock when that came in. I do feel like your star is coming into view after a long time of being held in a place of self-reflection, integrating some heavy stuff, wandering through the valley of the shadow, not sure if you were ever going to see the light up ahead. And if you were going to see the light, was it going to be that star shining off in the distance, or was it going to be an oncoming train? I think that that remains to be seen, but I do feel there's hidden gifts that are going to be made available to you here. I do feel, though, also that there's something that you got to break on through to the other side of. And I say that because when I got to this pile and I was trying to find the box that I could show in the opening, I couldn't find the Occult Tarot box. It was just completely missing. So I feel like there's something here that you're missing that you need to find. And I do feel you will find it, because I did find it. And it was hidden behind this Jim Morrison book here, okay? So the doors coming in, the doors of perception. That's the source of inspiration for how Jim Morrison came up with the name for the band, The Doors. It was from an Aldous Huxley book, The Doors of Perception. You could benefit from reading that book. You may be familiar with Aldous Huxley already. If you haven't read that book, you might want to pick it up. There might be some kind of information in that book that I got springs lock on a part of your consciousness that's been under lock and key. It could sort of provide what you need here. It could be just connecting with a certain, neural loop here that's been sort of blocked off, like maybe an aspect of your consciousness that's been quarantined. I'm sort of seeing it as it's there. What you think is missing is there. It's just the route to open up to the awareness of it, I feel. I do feel with dragon's blood as well, there's something that is being healed here. And it might be something that's related to your family tree, because dragon's blood is a resin. It comes from a tree. So there's also something here about initiation. And I feel like once you find this missing piece, that's what opens up the gateway of initiation for you. Big initiation energy. needing to kind of call on the ancestral energies, call on, spirit for protection, give up some smoke, give up some offerings, cleanse yourself, ready yourself here. The doors of perception are about to open in your consciousness. They're going to be blown wide open, I just heard. But it does bring some kind of blessing. It does bring some kind of blessing. Some of you feel a connection to dragons, or if you haven't felt a connection to dragons, you may be connecting with your dragon. It's going to show you the way to some treasure. That's what I got. All right, let's check this out. I know there's something you got to break on through to the other side of. So there's some kind of barrier here that you need to get through. Bottom of the deck, 2 of Pentacles. Reveals the past and future. Reconciles friends and enemies. Frenemy energy, a shapeshifter kind of energy that you need to be aware of here. Something that has been creating some imbalance for you. All right, let's see what this is about. You may be hearing from somebody that you haven't heard from for quite a while. It's all of a sudden changing their tune. You may have had suspicions about this person because you noticed that they were a bit shifty, You started to spot cracks in the facade, certain things seeped through that put your hackles up. So maybe you created a little distance between you and this person. You felt like they were up to a little monkey business. In some cases, you felt like they were a flying monkey sent from some witch, or evil wizard. Hell bent on domination. I heard, woo, okay, somebody wants to best you. Does somebody want to best you? Is this a battle royale going on here? Is this a battle of wizards? Who's going to get their hands on the treasure? All right. Well, you may be coming into alignment with a dragon ally here that's helping to ward that treasure for you. I could see there may be some treasure here. I mean, we did see that message of gifts coming in, okay? Spiritual gifts. I do feel like you're getting spiritual gifts here. Maybe that's what you need to tap into. It's the part of your consciousness that's been sort of like quarantined for now. It's been sort of blocked off for now because it wasn't ready to be activated yet. But I feel like some activating force is coming in here that's going to fling open those doors of perception. It allows you to travel in a new way. That's what I'm getting. Travel between the realms in a new way. This is a very if you're not somebody who is a walker of the weird way, okay, this may not be your road, but it may be somebody's road that you're fascinated by or is factoring into your situation in some way, because I'm picking up strong vibes of somebody who works with alchemy here, sorcery, wizardry, whatever you want to call it, man. It's somebody who has arcane knowledge, occult knowledge, and is compelled to dive deeper into that terrain because it's sort of like it's their path, man. They're on the path of the Magi. They are on the path of transformation. They've already went through many doors of initiation. The next one up ahead, woo, it's going to blow doors on all the others. It flings open all the doors of perception. Ah, interesting. I just heard the kingdom of heaven is inside you. Heaven on earth. Ooh, baby, do you know what that's for? I heard that on the Carlisle song, Heaven on Earth. Oh, interesting. Very interesting energy. There's something kind of bubblegummy about it, though. It's kind of funny. Maybe people wouldn't assume that you know how to work with certain occult knowledge. Maybe you have sort of a different outer appearance that doesn't match up to like the stereotypical sort of like image of the occultist, you know? You might not be into dressing all in black and having your house decorated with skulls and antlers and, you know, you might feel like you don't need to rep yourself in that way, right? Not that there's anything wrong if you're drawn to more of a kind of goth aesthetic, but I feel like that's something that throws people off. Like the people you deal with expect you to come in a certain sort of packaging, you know? Those nonconformists, they're all alike. And something about you, like it stands out like a sore thumb. But I'm picking up that it also makes people underestimate you. Okay. Okay, that's interesting energy. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, you have felt the sharp blade of the deceiver before. I see that. Oh, not 3 of Swords, 5 of Swords. Well, the 3 didn't come out by any accident. I do feel like it is something that was a deep wounding to your heart. And it was a betrayal. It's a betrayal. There's a wound that's very deep here. And it's been something that's been in need of healing for a long time. Eons, it's been needing to be healed. 1:21:22 on the clock. Finally, the wound is going to be closed. It's going to be healed. You know, that's another thing that dragon's blood does. It's been used by many different indigenous cultures to mend wounds, staunch bleeding. There's something here that has been causing you to lose a lot of energy. There may be even something that ties back to a past life, like a long drawn out battle. It's got vibes of like fallen warrior, like bloodshed, you know, bloodshed and something being rectified, something from the past being rectified. I'm seeing like an image. This might speak to somebody. It feels like it's one of those, like, I call it deja voodoo. It's when you have like a memory, a deja vu, but you're like, I know I've never been there. I have never been there in this life, but yet I know this place. And what I'm seeing is like this wide open field of gold. It's like summertime, like high summer, humid out, and the fields are all dry, and it's that golden hue, and I'm like hearing like the rustling of the dry grasses. Interesting. It's reminding me of there's a particular kind of grass. It's called rattlesnake grass, I believe. And it's because when it's stimulated by the wind, it kind of makes that sound. It makes that sound. That's something that can be used alchemically as well to sort of protect oneself from snakes in the grass. Okay, you could have some snakes in the grass in your situation. Back to the vision of what I'm seeing. It's like high summer, and your vantage point is like looking over this wide open field of gold, and I hear that sort of like rustling kind of sound of those dry grasses blowing in the wind, and you're looking out toward the horizon of a storm that's coming in. There's like dark clouds rolling in like a thunderstorm. And there's something really like a faded feeling about that. That's for somebody. Whatever that is, the conclusion of what happened back there is coming to completion shortly for you. This was a deep betrayal. This is something that's been festering for lifetimes. That's what I got. It's like an old score kind of energy. Okay, let's see what this is. What's this coming in here? What is this coming in here for those who chose pile 3? What is this coming in here? There it is again. It's totally a score that's going to be settled with this shapeshifter. Something that was out of karmic balance is about to be brought into balance. The sign that this is about to arrive is going to be when you catch wind from this person, somebody that you've fallen out with, trying to reconcile with you. Okay, let me see what this is here. Ace of Pentacles, Page of Wands. Ooh. Okay, interesting. So there's news coming in here. News approaching. With the bear coming in here, I got kind of a dualistic message with this, okay? Now, I think of bear medicine and I think of the pineal gland. Meditation and activating the inner vision is part of bear medicine. There's many other aspects to it. But with the Page of Wands, we know that there's some kind of message coming in here. The message coming in here, it lights things up with the wand energy. It activates a certain power. And there was this piece about like a part of your consciousness sort of being sequestered, but it was about to be reoriented. That's the only way I know how to kind of refer to what I'm getting here. Reoriented, reintegrated into your consciousness. It's almost like that part of your consciousness that holds the keys to certain gifts and knowledge has had to be barricaded until it was the right time for it to be activated. And this is something that could be awakening now. And it's what activates a certain medicine within you that puts an Ace of Pentacles in your hands. It gives you all worldly power and treasures, and it makes you rich quickly. Now, with this energy here, this trickster energy, you could be somebody who walks the path of the trickster. It's part of your medicine. You could work with coyote medicine. You could have indigenous roots. You could have Heyoka medicine. You could encounter a Heyoka, okay? And you're being initiated into that sort of sacred hoop, you could say. There's some kind of gift you're being given here. It's like a certain kind of mojo. But it also opens up a new path, a new way of moving forward in realms that you've been accustomed to journeying a certain way. I also feel like that's one aspect coming through here. And I do feel like that is coming into play. This is a bit of beginning, a new beginning for you in terms of the way you've been walking your path. Like, this is a new initiatory point for you, right? Some of you are activating a certain part of your spiritual lineage that comes from your ancestral roots that you have not worked with before. Some of you could be coming into contact with a Kachina spirit, an ancestral spirit. I feel like that's speaking very strongly for those of you who have native roots, native roots. I'm picking that up pretty strongly here. For some, there could be like a Navajo connection, Hopi connection, any of those like Plains tribes, Southern tribes, throughout like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Oklahoma, just that whole stretch, the Plains tribes. I'm picking this up pretty strongly for someone here. But I do feel like this is a transformation point on your path. Like, you're heading in a new direction. There's great reward, but there's a challenge here. I do feel like there's a little bit of a tricky energy that you have to overcome here. It also could have something to do with journeying with the monkey coming in here. Sometimes monkey can come in as a guide when you are journeying to protect, okay? There's something maybe that needs to be transformed through journeying, or there's like a new path that's opening up for you here, that it's a brand new spiritual journey for you. You're being initiated here. That I feel this very strongly. There could also be somebody that is coming onto your path. This person could also hold a certain magic of their own. They could be coming in with some illumination for you. You might have had a falling out with this person. This person could be giving you some answers to your questions. But you also have to understand that this person has the talent of invisibility, imperceptibility, okay? They could have a cloak of impenetrability. In other words, I feel like there's something about the approach, though friendly and wanting to put you in the loop. It conceals their involvement in deeds that were done in the dark. They have played a role here. There could be a Virgo connected to this. There could be a Sagittarius connected to this. And right after that, we have Queen of Wands. You have some information that they want access to. They feel like you've been quite resilient. You've made it through some pretty desolate territory here and quite a bit of testing. They don't understand how you got through it, and they want to have some insight here. I do feel like somebody wants to get on your good side here. They want to get on your good side. And I do feel like this person has a different view of you than they used to have, okay? There's something about a change in their perception of you. Like, they do see a different side of you. And that is causing them to want to sort of like restore dignity in a certain way. But I feel like this person was part of like trying to strip you of that dignity as well. That's how it's coming through. That's how it's coming through. I do think this person is talking a good talk. They want to work with you here, I feel. And they're willing to, sort of like appease you. It feels like they're willing to extend themselves in your direction. But I also feel like this person's still attached to somebody that might not necessarily be so agreeable with this teaming of efforts, you could say. All right? Because I know that there's some reunion that's trying to happen here that brings in not only friends but enemies, and that's something you need to be mindful of. You're holding something in your hands here. It might feel a bit of a magic trick to people, like, how are you pulling that off? They may feel like you really fooled them, like you're the tricky one in this situation. Page of Swords, yeah. How did you affect that strategy? How did you pull that off? You see, there's something that you transmuted here. There's some big transformation you're getting ready to pull off here that is rousing curiosity, I feel. Curiosity from those who misjudged you in the past and worked against you in the past that now are coming around your way of thinking, and they're willing to like get on board and do what they need to do to get back on board after they jump that ship. And then there's also, the intrigue and interest of enemies, those who would rouse opposition. And it comes through again. Gives answers of past, present, and future. Reconciles friends and foes. You do need to exercise a bit of awareness here because, again, that rattlesnake grasp, it's bringing in the quality of you need to be alerted to the dangers. Because anytime we're put in a position where we got something of value in our hands, it can put a target on our back. And whatever friends are coming forward here, these are people who were stacked against you in the past. They had a hand in it. I'm not saying that they necessarily had a clear view of the situation, because it does feel like at least somebody who's approaching you here does have an accurate perception of you now. And they want to make things right, but they don't want to be completely transparent about their involvement in things that went south there. The inconvenient truth in this situation is that even the friendly ones approaching you are still connected to this oppositional energy. And that is very problematic. Very problematic. In fact, I don't know why I got this. This person who's approaching you, that does want to make things right, they may have confided this to a friend. This friend is actually an opponent. And the opponent is like, yeah, you should go. You should talk to them. See, because it's kind of like a way for them to have an in and access to your energy because they know that they can't approach you. Mm-hmm. And that's how it connects you to friends and foes. This person who's approaching you is doing so with true intent to rectify matters. But they may have been advised by this character here, like, you shouldn't talk about, your involvement and what happened back there, because they know that it would also sabotage them getting access to your energy and information about you. So you have to be aware of this. King of Pentacles comes out here. This is an alchemist. This is an alchemist here. King of Pentacles. Interesting. You might want to check out. You might want to check out pile 2. Because there was like that King of Pentacles, King of Diamonds energy that came out there in the light. But the problem was that they were still connected to a Queen of Pentacles in reverse. It could be this character. You should check out pile 2. If you didn't listen to that read, you should check out pile 2. If you're coming to this after the premiere, okay? Yeah, see, this person wants to work things out. They want to move things forward in a new way. We've got Earth sign energy here, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We also got, Pentacles energy here. So this could be somebody that wants to develop something with you on a business level, wants to invest in something you're working on here, wants to support it that way, could even want to support it financially, or with the Wands energy, want to kind of like, you know, be a hype person for you, give you a little bit more visibility, or get you in certain rooms, assist you in certain ways, give you sort of a plan of strategy, you know, ways that you can kind of get around some of the obstacles you've been facing here. But oh man, I don't know, man. One more round here. One more round here. More details about this. All I know is you got some access to something you're going to be getting here that gives you some worldly power, gives you a treasure that's going to make you rich quickly, right? So you got to be careful about this, because you could drop the bag. I see that. You could drop the bag. Oh, and here it comes. Here comes Apophis. Here comes Apophis to block the way just as you're about to get to Ragnarok with your son and have your shining moment. Yeah, good old Apophis here wants to know, what are you planning on doing? What are you planning on doing? You know, maybe even wants to come in through this hype man, might be encouraging this person. Yeah, you know, just really, you know, hype them up, man. wants to get you hyped up. If you get hyped up, then you know, it could make you bold, carelessly. You might be encouraged by this individual. Oh yeah, be bold with it, you know? Maybe taking an action that feels a little bit risky. And here's Apophis just waiting, who's been speaking in this Page of Wands ears, sort of setting this up behind the scenes. And then just when they think they're in a secure position, I'm going to swoop in and I'm going to steal that sun. I'm going to block that road. I'm going to cut them off at the pass. Ooh, nasty energy, man. What do we got here? Yeah. And with that, we got a Queen of Cups. A Queen of Cups who speaks very eloquently, has a way with words, and follows all requests with excellence. Phoenix rising kind of energy here with the Queen of Cups. Yeah, pride always comes before a fall. This is what I feel. It's sort of like to fill your head, you know, try to appeal to vanity, get you to a place where you feel really kind of cocky, self-assured. And so you take an unnecessary risk that sort of sets you up for a very public fall. That's what I got. That's how it's coming through. But Ace of Wands, see, you got a certain power in your hands here. Ace of Wands. I see the energy is a little tricky, but you're going to learn the way of the trickster. I feel like that's what your initiation process is about. You're being initiated into trickster medicine. And in order for you to be initiated into trickster medicine, it's inevitable. You got to find your way through tricky territory. You got to make the right judgment calls. It bodes well for you, I have to say. I mean, you got an Ace of Wands here. You got an Ace of Pentacles. You got an Ace of Wands. That's like worldly power. That's actually being able to you know, direct your energy, your focus, your drive, your ambition in a certain way where you hit the mark. It's something that's manifest. You can see it, feel it, touch it. It's not just something you're sort of like dreaming into being. It's when you're able to actually truly speak things into existence here. You're learning some holy secrets here. And also, through this trickster medicine, you're becoming quite wily in the ways weapons can be made through the art of seduction. So I do feel like you got a seducer coming through here. And the seducer will try to play to the ego. So you get a little too big for your britches, a little too showy, a little too on display. And then you fumble the bag. You lose your mojo. You fail the initiation. So you do got to be aware of this energy here. Because you got old Apophis there that wants to block the passageway to the sun. I don't know. You know, you might want to open up that book, Doors of Perception, Aldous Huxley. It might give you some kind of clue here about something that needs to be seen, maybe from a different vantage point. I don't know why that's coming through, but it is. Let me do a cut of the deck here. See what we got. Ace of Swords. My God, you got all these aces. You got Ace of Pentacles. You got the Ace of Swords. Now you got, and you have the Ace of Wands. Here's the Ace of Swords. See what this is? See what this is? See, somebody here is in the position where they were a griffin sent in by a wizard who wanted access to your treasure. It could even be like your knowledge, wanted access to your secrets. And how are you doing that? How are you getting around what we're throwing at you? How are you doing that? Somebody here is caught up. So I feel like, yeah, they are appealing to this Page of Wands. It seems like this Page of Wands wants to try to work things out because they see something that they couldn't see before. But the tricky element is this person is still sort of seduced by the person who's advising them. And I feel like the person is advising them, okay, they were at one point this Page of Wands griffin. They were their flying monkeys, so to speak. They sent them in because they were friendly with you to try to gain access to your secrets here. I see that. But now that flying monkey is caught up. They're in a tight spot. They may be feeling that judgment is about to be called, that their cover is about to be blown with the Ace of Swords, that like some truth is coming to light. And that's why there's this mad dash for advising this person to try to come in, make things right with you. But see, I feel like they're advising this person in such a way where they feel like they can get what they need to get themselves out of their predicament. And that makes this Page of Wands, despite maybe having a good intention, not the most reliable character. Other side of the deck, that's right. The Beelzebub. Here comes the swarm as you're trying to make it to Ragnarok with your son. The moon. What's hidden under the light of the moon, all right? Pisces energy. 12th house matter. Hidden enemy. Blind spot. You got to be aware of this here. Whoever this is, through this person and through seducing, manipulating this person with making them feel like they're giving them good guidance about how to make it right with you, all right? They are seducing this person to actually be the fall guy for springing the lock to get them out of a certain mess they made where they're in a compromised position. They don't care. Whoever this griffin energy is, this flying monkey is, like, they'll offer anyone up. I feel like whoever this is threw you under the bus. Now, they did have loyalty to this Page of Wands at one point. Now they're going to throw them under the bus, use them to suit their means here. Whoever this person is that you're dealing with here, that's connected to this Page of Wands, they may manifest the apparitions of demons. This person works with, some pretty heavy duty energy here. But I also see that they set these demons upon men to destroy them with vices. So this is interesting to me because I feel like in the case of this Page of Wands, they're working with the art of seduction. And they may have been a lover to this Page of Wands, and they're still working them. They still can kind of like pull those strings. I feel like when it comes to you, they feel like your weakness is your vanity. For some reason, that's this person's perception. They feel like your weakness is your vanity. And so if they can pump up your ego, they can create a scenario where you take a public fall. They can kind of shift the focus off of them and what they've done and put it squarely on you. Oh, that old Apophis. Sneaky energy. Okay, interesting. Very interesting. All right, let's get some final details here. All I have to say for you that are operating from pile 3 here, don't fumble the bag, man. Don't fumble the bag. You're just about to get your reward, man. Don't fumble the bag now. All right? This is a test. This is a test. So yeah, get yourself ready for this. Get yourself ready for this because I feel like this is what's brewing. It's sort of like the clouds are already gathering, you know, on the horizon. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it, Rod. Don't reveal our sinister plans. Oh, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about it. All right, let's see. Let's get some final details here. Final details here for file 3. So they play this hand wisely and they don't get themselves caught up. I don't think you want to find yourself clinging to that rock. I don't think you want to take a fall and be like Prometheus, bound to a reality where you got great spirit going, oh man, you blew it. You blew it. You know? You got too full of yourself. You didn't hold the power wisely. And now we got to send an eagle out to, you know, feast on your liver every single day. Only for it to regenerate at night for you to experience it again the next day. Yeah, you know, you play with fire. You can get burned. This is about a certain power is going to be put in your hands, and you have to use it wisely. And there's somebody here that feels like they can manipulate you and feed into your ego and feed into your sense of pride and have you take a fall. That's what I feel. It's like setup energy. You got to pass this test. Oh, yeah, you got a joker here for sure. You got a joker here for sure. And this person definitely is an occultist. They are an occultist. And their mind's on the money and their money's on the mind. They want to grab that bag from you. They want to grab that bag from you. There's something they want to steal from you. They want to steal some treasure from you. But the only way they can take that treasure is sort of like if they make you take a fall. And there's the joker again. What I like here is you're being initiated, though, into this like trickster medicine. So it's all about you effectively working this medicine and playing your hand in the right way. See, whoever you are, you have a balance between shadow and light. You can play for both teams. I feel that. I feel like you work with beings of light and you work with beings from the shadow realm as well. And you know how to find sort of like the middle way through those two energies. You know well about dealing with tricky territory. I feel like you've slipped on that razor's edge before and you know what it means to take a fall. When you take a fall like that, it's something you never forget with the 10 of spades here. You've learned a certain lesson. I feel like that's to your advantage, and that's what's actually going to have you hitting the mark. Like, I feel like your treasure will be secured here. But you got this oppositional energy here that would love nothing more than to gain the upper hand. And it's two, it's two. Isn't that interesting? Both of those Joker energies came out in the shadow realm. So Joker's wild here. It is. It's very tricky territory. And that's the thing. It's like it could start out this way. This Page of Wands comes in. They do have good intention, but through the slow and steady manipulation of this person they're still connected to, they could turn too. And then you're gonna have, a couple of these jokers pulling fast ones with you. Definitely could be connected to a Queen of Hearts in the shadow here. So we have that like Queen of Diamonds in the shadow reference point coming in, kind of tying this pile back to pile 2. So you should check out that read. We also have this connection here where this could be like a lover of theirs, a past lover of theirs, right? Water sign energy, strong Pisces with the moon. Whatever this is, it's like a blind spot. I don't feel like this person comes forward with this individual, nor do I feel like they even make you aware that they're connected to this individual. But they're there. They are there. You need to be aware of this. They are there, okay? But I feel like you got everything you need within you to be able to successfully pass this test. But I also feel like perhaps this Queen of Hearts in the shadow feels like that is the way in with this Page of Wands. That may be why the Page of Wands is being sent in. She may feel that there's a weakness there where you could be seduced, okay? Kind of the deck energy. Just remember this. You're not just getting this person's energy. They come in with somebody else attached. 7 of Diamonds in the light, okay? And with this, 9 of Clubs in the light. So the way to open your road, the path that leads to growth for you, is to ward against this influence coming towards you. You should not invest in this. You should not invest in this. By you not investing in it, it's what finally settles the score. You find the balance with the 6 of Diamonds, and it ends this interference, this bitter interference that in the past caused something to be lost. It caused blockage, and you had the way closed to you. And in some cases, this is related to a misuse of power. Now, what's very interesting that's coming through in relation to this is I feel like there have been times when you experienced a loss of power or what it means to not wield power wisely, because I see it sort of in the history of the situation here of what you've been through in the past. Like, what it's like to take a fall on the razor's edge. And when you're somebody who walks the line between shadow and light, it is a slippery slope. You have to stay very centered. And I do feel like there have been initiations in the past where you had to learn that lesson about what it meant to not hold power wisely, what it meant to use too much force, what it meant to come more from the ego, what it meant to be too prideful. And so this is your opportunity to sort of face a similar situation where you have power put in your hands that gives you access to gifts, a great reward. But can you use it in a balanced way this time? If you use it in a balanced way this time, then what caused so much suffering and loss in the past with the 9 of Spades in the shadow will end up being the thing of your fulfillment. But it does require you to face a certain fear. pretty potent. What's on the other side here? Yeah, facing the Queen of Hearts in the shadow. This is an old opponent. You dealt with this person before. I feel like you dealt with this character before. This is somebody that you're familiar with. Whoever is attached to this page once, this person has tussled with you before. And they've tussled with you through spiritual warfare, most certainly. There's judgment coming in this situation, and it all hinges on you exercising your wise judgment. So, ward in this situation, stand your ground, and don't invest in something if it feels the least bit off. And if you do start to sense yourself sort of getting full of yourself because of the way that your ego is being fed with this, you know, to kind of put yourself in check and hold back a bit until you can find your center. Play your cards right, though. You're about to come into quite a few aces. The love stuff may not be dialed in for you right now because there's no Ace of Cups out here. But hey, an Ace of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, Ace of Wands, 3 out of 4 ain't bad.